The Team and Raga show is back, and I'm very excited to be back. I hope you guys had an awesome festive season with family and friends. I saw some socials, pictures, videos, people having your brides, some people visiting the Shisha Nyamas. So, unfortunately, this week I'm doing the show alone. Chandra had some unforeseen circumstances this morning, so he couldn't make it to the shoot. But be assured, he'll definitely be back next week. And yeah, so I'm flying solo this week. Before we start the show, I just want to say to all our raga lovers, people that watched our show, we appreciate you and all the best for 2024. So yeah, let's get right into it. So this past weekend was a big one. It was the Lions versus the Sharks down in Ellispark. Sorry, it was the Lions versus the Sharks at Kings Park. Yeah, me, Ellis Park. So the Lions were 18-3 down at halftime, right? And by that time, I thought it's done. The Sharks are going to win, and the hoodoo will continue. I mean, the Lions, I think they haven't won in Durban for a couple of years. And boy, oh boy, did the Lions come back. I don't know what Cash or the management team told the boys at halftime in the changing room, but the boys just looked fired up, man. I mean, the intensity they came with, the defense was just better. And yeah, they ran out 2018. They won that game by 2 points. But for me, yeah, it's very sad, man. It's very sad to see the boys from Durban, the boys from Umhlanga, the Sharks. What's happening at the Sharks? What is the solution? I mean, we've been talking about it for. I mean, the Sharks are sitting at the bottom of the URC log. I think they've got something like 9 points or something like that after 9 games, if I'm not mistaken. What do we do? I mean, going forward, one thing they need to change, without a doubt, is the policy, the recruitment policy. That needs to change. Do you change coaches now, or do you wait until the season ends? And with that as well, do you get rid of the whole coaching group with the director of rugby? What do you do? I mean, personally, I would keep Plum and just getting better assistants. Better assistants, I mean, replacing Warren Whiteley, for instance. Uh, and then I don't know if they actually replace Piwe, the skills coach that joined the Bulls, and just getting better assistants. And obviously look at Neil Powell's position as the director of rugby. But one thing is for certain: changes need to be made, and then obviously the recruitment policy needs to change going forward as well. They need to. I mean, a guy like Yar Sarfontaine that's rumored to be available that wants to come back. I mean, I'll get him in. I'll get a guy like Kobus Visa, the former Stormers player that went overseas that wants to come back. That's a utility, can play flank and lock. I would look at maybe. I mean, there's a host of players that, I mean, a guy like Trevor Nyakani maybe that's rumored to be, or that wants to come back. Players like that. I also get players that will be available most of the time. I mean, they shouldn't go back to the whole strategy of just buying Boks that won't be available for most of the time. But the Sharks just doesn't look like a team right now. They look like a whole lot of individuals. And yeah, and take the Lions for instance. I mean, the Lions look like a well-drilled team. They play for each other, and they don't have any superstars. And obviously, that has to do with the coaching. I mean, I have to give credit to Cash with his assistants, Ricardo Lopcha, Jacques Fourie, Baran Peters. They've done an awesome job. To take the Lions players and to elevate them, to get the Lions team playing like the way they are playing. Yeah, take some coaching. I mean, they're what, 5 in a row now. I think that's I don't remember Cash ever going 5 games in a row, winning 5 games in a row. But also the from watching from the outside as well, I watch a lot of the clips on the socials. You can just see they're just a happy team, man. I mean, you get was it Albert Willemse, you get the Smith twins, Sanele and Ohamba. You can just see on socials whenever they're interacting. Uh, they just look happy. They just look a very happy team. So it also goes to the team culture. I personally believe. So another interesting topic that came up is the resting of the Springboks. When do the Springboks rest? Do they get 2 months off? What is the deal? So the CEO of My Players is the body that obviously represents all professional rugby players. So they've got the interest of the players at heart. And what I like about them is that I've seen with some of the clips that the Boks have shown us behind the scenes. They're very part of they're a very important part of the Springbok. So they've continuous interactions with Rassi about player welfare. So basically, any player, regardless of if you're a Bok or not, has to rest for 8 weeks. So there's 52 weeks in a year. The season starts, I think, the 1st of July, ends 30 June. So within that period, every player needs to rest for 8 weeks. And then obviously with the Boks coming back from the World Cup, I think they need to rest. But some of the Boks have rested already after the World Cup. So I think Jake has rested his Boks for 5 weeks. And I think after the 5 weeks, they're ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see how the Sharks and the Stormers approach that. Do they rest all the Springboks at once? Personally, I think what you do, like for instance with the Sharks, let's just take the 2-4. Let's just take Ox and Ewan. I'll rest Ewan the one game and play Lucanio with Ewan in the one game, and obviously the next game I'll rest Ox and with my Pimpi. That's how I'll do it. I won't rest all my Springboks all at once. As long as all the players rest for 8 weeks, and as long as they don't play more than 32 games. I mean, a guy like Ntamak, the French flyer, has come out and said that he feels that rugby players are playing too many games. It'll be interesting to see in the comments what your views are, rugby lovers. Do you guys think that the rugby players are playing too many games? I know that's definitely a factor. That's definitely a discussion in the football world where players feel that they're playing too many games. So it'll be interesting to see because Ntamak says that the only time he gets to rest, literally, is because of the injury, and that's sad. I mean, players shouldn't rest because of an injury. He feels that the players are playing too much rugby. The guys at the Lions have come out and released a statement in terms of changes that are happening with regards to us on the show, and obviously the rugby public just complaining about Ellispark in terms of the safety at Ellispark. So obviously it's nice to see that actually there are plans in place to bring the supporters back to Ellispark. So one of the options is to reintroduce the park and ride. So basically, you get a scenario where you can, let's say, park at Wits University, and then you have a bus ride to the stadium. The other thing is that they want to increase personnel in terms of safety. So police and security personnel will be visible outside of the stadiums. The other option they're looking at is so where the Lions are currently training is right next to Ellispark. So they want to improve that whole facility and get it maybe to a 10,000, for it to allow for like 10,000 spectators. And so obviously it'll make it much better financially. It'll make more financial sense to then use that stadium for games that maybe, let's say the Lions have like 8,000 to 9,000 spectators rather than using Ellispark. And the main reason they can't really move from Ellispark is that they've got an agreement, obviously, with the Challenge Cup and the URC bodies in terms of they need certain standards. Like for instance, the Wi-Fi, the stadium, the facilities, the media facilities need to be of a certain class. And I think all the other stadiums, like your Wits University, unfortunately, don't have that. But they're also considering moving the smaller games. So when they play Currie Cup and they've got games against the smaller unions, they might consider moving those games to Wits University. I think what makes me personally happy is that they're looking at, they've listened to the fans, because I mean, the fans are the ones that actually goes to the games, and they're the ones experiencing all the issues around Ellispark. And it's nice to see the Lions have come out and said that they're making plans, they're working around it. And it'll be interesting to see what they decide on in terms of do they jack up the security outside the stadium? And it'll also be interesting to see in terms of once everything has been done, let's say, for instance, the park and ride has been sorted, security has been sorted, do the fans start going to the games? One game I'm definitely sure about, that they will definitely sell out. It's the All Blacks versus the Springboks. So it'll be interesting to see your comments in terms of how you guys feel about that. And then one of the main transfer news this past week has been one of my favorite players, Wandisile Simelane to the Stormers. I love Wanza. I'm a huge Wandisile fan. I think he's just so talented. And if Wanza stays injury free and he gets playing opportunity, there's no reason why Wanza shouldn't become a Bok. That's how highly I rate him. He's got all the talent in the world to make the Boks squad, and obviously I think he will thrive in the Stormers environments. I mean, I can just see him, man. You can just see when Gaza is there with Mani Lebok. The Owens is they just lack him, man. They just lack in that whole the gears that Dobo has created at the Stormers, and I think that in that environment, Wanza will play to his full potential. Obviously, the Stormers playing the running type of rugby that suits Wandile to the T. To the T. I mean, that's his style of play. And obviously, you have a guy like Norman Laker, the Stormers defense coach, that'll work on Wandisile's defense. Obviously, in that 13 channel, where defense is so important. And yeah, and I think Daimani has actually said that his defense has improved tremendously under Norman Laker. So Wanza, I think that's the only weakness to his game, personally. It's his defense. So with Norman Laker, he works on that defense, especially in that 13 channel, and then he becomes a better player and hopefully becomes a Springbok. Scott Robertson, the new New Zealand coach, has come out and said that he wants to change how the law. So for you guys who don't know, so in New Zealand, if you're playing overseas, you can't be selected for the All Blacks. Tough. And South Africa had a similar scenario where before Rassie came back in 2018, Rassie immediately changed that rule because he wanted to select the best players that are available. Yeah, so Scott Robinson is busy talking to the bosses at New Zealand Rugby in terms of just changing that rule, in terms of just being able to select the best players. Personally, I think that'll only benefit New Zealand Rugby and World Rugby because then we have the best New Zealand team available. And as a youth Springbok fan, that's who I want to face. I mean, I want to face the best New Zealand team. And it'll be interesting to see for the next 4 years, Scott Robinson against Rassie Erasmus. I mean, that's obviously if Rassie gets confirmed as the Bok coach, which I think will be the case. So it'll be interesting to see how Scott Robinson goes against Rassie for the next 4 years. The All Blacks versus the All Blacks. The All Blacks versus the Springboks, I mean, yeah. So Owen Farrell is also rumored to be on his way to Racing Metro. So young Owen Farrell wants to join Siamtanda Kolisi at Racing. Maybe the boy just wants to get a tip or two about how to win a World Cup or two as well. I mean, you can't blame Owen Farrell. But I think, on a serious note, I think Owen Farrell is mainly going there because of the abuse that he's been receiving in terms of in the English media. And he's also stepped away from the England team to work on his mental health. So I think a change of scenery, living in a different country, will do wonders to Owen Farrell, and hopefully he'll fall in love with the game again. Just being in a different environment, able to spend more quality time with the family, and be able to concentrate on ruggers, and obviously making guap. I mean, who doesn't love an extra zero to their salary? So yeah. So I personally think that the move will go through. Owen Farrell will join Racing Metro. But yeah, but as things stand, it's just a rumor. So personally, I'm looking forward to 2024 because of just the amount of games that we can just expect this year. I mean, I think next month we're starting with the Varsity Cup, rugby that rocks. We've got schoolboy rugby that's starting, I'm assuming, around about March. That's something I love. Schoolboy rugby. I'm a huge fan of schoolboy rugby. I'm looking forward to the rugby championship. Obviously, the Boks versus Australia versus New Zealand versus Argentina. I'm looking forward to the inbound tour. And talking about the inbound tour, that first test where the South Africa is going to play the Irish. I can't wait for that game. Can you imagine with that song or that Rusty song that went viral? What's going to happen at Loftus when the whole crowd sings in your head, Rusty, Rusty? That's going to be bonkers. It's going to be crazy. I'll definitely be there for that game at Loftus. So yeah, and then obviously the end of year tour with the Boks, and hopefully we see a couple of new caps. So all in all, I'm just excited for the rugby season ahead. And then talking about this weekend coming up, it's the European games that are back. So it's the Championship Cup and the Challenge Cup. So in the Champions Cup, so you can get champions. It's the Bulls that are playing Bristol. So the Bulls have named a team without the Springbok. So no Vali Leroux, no Kanan, no Kirtley, and no Marco van Staden. So they're going away. They're playing Bristol. But I still think with the quality of players that the Bulls have, they should still win that game against Bristol. The Stormers are playing the Sail Sharks away. We all know it's very difficult to beat the Stormers at home. So I see the Stormers winning that one in Kaapstad. And then we've got the Lions that have named an under-strength team. They're playing Montpellier. It's going to be a very, very, very tough game for the Lions, especially with an under-strength team. And I think Montpellier will win that game and remain top of that group. We've got the Cheetahs playing against Pau. I see the Cheetahs remaining undefeated, going 3 out of 3 and remaining top of the group. I don't see any reason why Cheetahs shouldn't beat Pau. And we've got the Sharks versus Oynex. Hopefully the Sharks return to winning ways. Hopefully. I mean, with the Sharks, you just never know. Hopefully the Sharks, being a South African, hopefully the Sharks win. And yeah, because I mean, I feel so bad for the Sharks supporters that have had a very, very, very bad season. So hopefully the Sharks can pull that one through. So yeah, so that's almost the end of the show, and it's January. Just to all the landlords, just be lacquer with the Owens, man. Rent delayed is not rent denied. Just yo, the Owens went a bit over budget during December. Just spare a thought for them. Anyway, so all the best to the rugby lovers for this year. All the best for 2024. And next week, I'll be back with Chandray. Same time, same place. And adios.